right, let's get it right. Let's get it 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 right. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Dilla T. And this is No Filters. Always appreciate you hitting that like button for me, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode, and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat, get you something to drink, get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Ooh. Let's get into this here.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you a question. It's actually a riddle that we're all familiar with. What came first, the chicken or the egg? That's what's on my mind. That's what's on my mind really all day. Because yesterday, we were explaining to you guys this sort of random coincidence, maybe not a coincidence, of the FBI seemingly choosing to work in offices that are kind of being run by like French royalty in essence, right? These old French-American families. Now, why would our FBI do that? Surely they would have been aware that they were choosing to work in buildings that might potentially have some foreign interests. But then you know what? It clicked. The chicken came before the egg. Of course, don't be ridiculous. That's the answer to the riddle. LOL to the American history that's taught to us in the public schools. The French helped to establish the United States. They came over and they helped us win our big independence from the big bad Brits. And then what? They just left us alone. It was just an act of charity. Like, we're good. We want nothing in return. We just want you guys to be free. Does that make sense to you? Come on. Turns out, actually, and you may have known this, maybe I'm just American ignorance, but our FBI was founded by the French. In theory, the FBI really is in France's building over in Wilmington, if you think about it, for a long time. And I have been thinking about this for a long time. So welcome back to Candace.
But I got something better for you, Chris. It ain't even that. It's the fact, like I told you, when you connect it, they allow you. Ain't no just pop back out.
I actually want to begin this episode with a comment from yesterday's episode, because, you know, we ran that poll wondering whether or not the public agreed with me about my lawsuit, me being filed by Brigitte Macron, me being sued by Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron, and whether or not it was just one big federal setup meant to bankrupt me. And here's an answer that we got in the comment section. Look at this. I believe that the purpose of Macron's lawsuit was that it was supposed to go nowhere because Candace was supposed to have been assassinated before the case got to court. Then they could forever claim that Candace was lying, which is evident by the fact that they were suing her for quote unquote defamation before someone had killed her. This was their plan, but I pray that it has now been foiled. I had never considered that, and that hit really deeply, and that is a dark thought. And I think now I'm wondering, I have a lot of questions. Everything feels different in this post-Charlie Kirk world. Where to begin? How about we should talk about the founding of America? Because man, those Catholic priests that I was telling you about, they were unbelievably correct. I told you guys a long time ago how when I was considering whether or not I should be Orthodox or Catholic, but I knew that I was sort of done with Protestantism, I had been taking instruction from these priests in Europe and in the UK, and one of the fathers is a real bookworm, right? Kind of this cantankerous Englishman, no time for the American education system whatsoever. And he said to me quite famously, "You Americans know nothing of your own history. Your country was founded by Freemasons." And that just kind of permanently now echoes in my ear, because boy, was he right. A war that had been sort of waging across Europe for centuries had then spilled into America. It was largely a spiritual war. It was really a theological war. That's what I'm starting to realize. That's why America never really had an appetite for Orthodox or Catholicism, because the Catholics and the Orthodox have kept history. They know what's going on in Europe, not the fake history that's packaged and sold to Americans. They know what the Freemasons were up to. Freemasons who caused all of those revolutions against really the Christian empire across Europe. The idea really, I now think, is keep Americans fat and dumb and drugged and propagandized, right? And then when we need to, use their men to mass murder other Christians overseas. That's the big picture that I'm beginning to see. All of this to say, did you know that our FBI was founded by Charles Joseph Bonaparte? I had no idea. I hate to be American ignorant, but I had no idea. And yes, that man was the founder. And yes, that is like Napoleon Bonaparte. His grandfather, Charles's grandfather, was Napoleon Bonaparte's brother. This is his great uncle. Napoleon Bonaparte was his great uncle, which makes it kind of hilarious, right? Because our tip yesterday from that person in Wilmington, Delaware, was asserting that the FBI had these offices, these kind of hidden offices, maybe kind of in buildings that appear to be in part controlled by French American families who might have some conflicted interests. Particularly, we were discussing the DuPont family, right? Mentioning the DuPont family led to a flurry of tips coming out of Delaware. It was incredible. People in Wilmington saying, yeah, no, they own kind of everything, like everything, hospitals, schools, buildings, you name it, it is theirs. And then we received some more tips from people who were invested in sort of the urban legends of the DuPont family. They were telling us, hey, I went to school with DuPonts, like there's a lot of stories there. And these stories sound a lot like what you were covering in your Becoming Brigitte series. You remember actually right before we had been sort of interrupted in Becoming Brigitte series 2, season 2, we were speaking about Eric Dupont Moretti, and we were speaking about how he was kind of known in a name for himself, making an argument for happy incest, yeah? People were telling us like, hey, this DuPont family, there's a lot going on there, and they've also maybe been involved in some murders. Again, this was DuPont folklore, if you will. But then more emails came in, and you know what? It's not entirely folklore, okay? It's really just not. This is actually an article that appeared in Vanity Fair, so let's read it together. And I'm gonna issue a trigger warning right at the top because it is disturbing. Today's episode in general, I should say, is not for the faint of heart. Here's the headline. DuPont heir gets no prison time for raping 3-year-old daughter. Okay, and the person who emailed us over said, this has actually kind of lived in me for over a decade because I was so disturbed by the story, and you should read this. And it tells us that Robert Richards IV was in 2009 convicted of raping his 3-year-old daughter 7 years after she, who was just 5, told relatives that she didn't want her father to be touching her anymore. Then it says, in an alarming twist, the judge who sentenced the heir to the DuPont fortune let him off with no jail time, arguing that the 6'4" Richards will not fare well in prison. That was the argument that the lawyer made, and the courts in Delaware found that to be valid. So instead of sentencing him for prison for raping a toddler, it goes on and tells us that Judge Jan Jordan ruled that Richards would benefit from treatment instead. Critics have since noted that such treatment is usually offered only to drug addicts or those in possession of child pornography, not convicted rapists, and the details of the case became public this month when Richards' ex-wife sued him for damages related to the abuse of their daughter. Here is how the News Journal describes the convicted rapist in this case, quote, Richards, who is unemployed and supported by a trust fund, owns a 5,800 square foot mansion in Greenville that he bought for $1.8 million in 2005. He also lists a home in the exclusive North Shores neighborhood near Rehoboth Beach, according to the state's sex abuse registry. Tells us that his great-grandfather is the DuPont family patriarch, Irene DuPont, and his father is Robert H. Richards, a retired partner in the Richards, Lawton, Layton, and Finger law firm. Now, I already know what you're gonna say. Hey, Candace, is that the law firm that's filing the paperwork for you? And the answer to that is yes. And I did not know that, no, until literally yesterday, because Richards didn't sound to me like DuPont, so I had not put 2 and 2 together as I was doing this episode talking about the DuPont family. I hadn't realized that the people that are filing paperwork for me, or rather the founder, of that firm, the founding partner of that firm, who's since retired, is DuPont. It's the DuPont family. So makes sense, because as the people in Delaware are telling us, everything is DuPont. The Vanity Fair article continues. The heir to the DuPont chemical fortune, and to be clear, that is what they specialize in, chemicals that are used in war. We're going to get more into that later. Also admitted to sexually assaulting his infant son. He was initially charged with 2 counts of second-degree child rape, which would have carried a mandatory 20-year prison term if convicted. Richards, again, accused of raping 2 of his own children, was instead released on a $60,000 bail and eventually copped a plea deal that involved him admitting that he had abused his children, but received that lesser charge of 4th-degree rape. Okay. Now, the article goes on to tell us that this is hardly the first time that the DuPont family has found itself the focus of unsavory headlines. John DuPont shot Olympic wrestler David Schultz dead in the driveway of the family's mansion in 1996. 2 years later, the decomposing body of a Las Vegas prostitute was found stuffed in the air conditioner of a seedy motel. She was killed by 3 hired hands. As Dominic Dunn reported in Vanity Fair, the money traced back to the DuPont family. It appeared that Lisa Dean, who is a DuPont, didn't approve of her drug-addicted son dating a drug-addicted Vegas sex worker, so she and her husband, Christopher Mosley, had her killed. Both John DuPont and Mosley died in prison. Okay, great, cool. France in the story. We've got an alleged murder for hire. I guess not an alleged murder. It's not alleged, it's just murder for hire. We've got incest. We've got Jeffrey Epstein's ties to France. I'm just kind of noticing a theme here, if you will. A theme here that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Are you feeling uncomfortable? Because you should be feeling uncomfortable, especially if you're me, okay? And you find out, really, by the grace of God, that there was this plot to murder me, okay? I'm just not liking all of this coincidence. It's starting to feel like a conspiracy, if I'm being honest with you. And we should get back to our map now, because it's getting a little squishy in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm feeling claustrophobic in Wilmington, Delaware, and I've never even been there, okay? So here's our block. We got couple of blocks here, and we told you yesterday, we've got this FBI suite in this building that's actually owned by the Wilmington Trust at 500 Delaware Avenue. We've got Brigitte lawyers at 919 North Market Street. Also in that building happens to be Stacey Sheridan's registered agent. That's Stacey Sheridan of Turning Point USA. We're going to talk about her in a second. We've got the Wilmington Trust actual location, which is at 1100 North Market. We told you about this crane, this red crane at 1100 North King Street, and that's Bridge Complex, which is supposed to house Insight headquarters, and they've got a French CEO. It's just a lot happening here. And again, now having a registered agent in Delaware you have an LLC, supposed to have a registered agent, and people tend to choose between Wyoming and Delaware, Las Vegas to form their own corporations. But wow, what are the chances that Stacey Sheridan has a registered agent that's in that building too? Because I have LLCs, and I've got LLCs in Delaware, and I'm not even in Wilmington. There's a lot to choose from. It's a whole state, but Stacey Sheridan's registered agent is there too. People had noted, by the way, that she had a few LLCs, specifically by Tyler Boyer, to raise money and to take Turning Point to the next level. And regarding Tyler Boyer, now we could say maybe a couple of weeks ago that he's a criminal, but actually Donald Trump pardoned him. He pardoned Tyler Boyer a couple of weeks ago, so we can't, that's actually not real. He's been pardoned. But he is always up to no good, I can tell you that. And he brings in this Stacey Sheridan. I gotta tell you, I did not like her at all. Just the vibe was off. I did not like her, and I expressed that to Charlie to his face when she was hired. That's when I kind of notoriously said to him, you can't go down this path with money, okay? Because people that want to raise money and you're bringing people over with the incentive of just wanting a lot of money, you can run into trouble that way. which is why I didn't feel great about the fact that she was so involved after Charlie's assassination. Stacey Sheridan is the one that was filming. Everyone was like, who's filming his casket as it's being escorted off of Air Force Two, crying, holding that Stacey. Like I said, I just felt spiritually that Charlie hiring her was a mistake. She didn't pass my vibe check. Suddenly she's everywhere. She's eulogizing Charlie Kirk on stage. She is capturing intimate photos of his casket. She's then at the White House shedding tears over this fake holiday that's been created, when I just want to solve actually who did this. And the whole thing was making my skin crawl, if I'm being honest. Her involvement specifically made my skin crawl, and I want to say that openly and honestly, okay? But she's there, and she's there in this squishy block. In this one block, we are all just chilling in Wilmington, right? And we would have never gotten to this block, by the way, had it not been for the Egyptian planes. Us simply tracking these Egyptian planes and somebody giving us a tip like, hey, kind of weird that's flying through Wilmington, and we go, aha, lights on. And here we are, right? We learn about this French and Israeli Ace Partners being the second largest shareholder of Satis. They decide to lease out this hangar. We learn that that requires federal approval because it sits on federal airways. And maybe that means it requires French approval. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know anything at this point except everything stinks to high heaven. And so I started asking myself, what do we all have in common? Why are we all just chilling in Delaware? That's what I'm trying to ascertain. What are we all doing over here near King Street? Who is the king? Right? Do we have some shared interest that I haven't seen through yet? And now would be the appropriate time for us to get back into that timeline, because there is an important question that we forgot to ask. So let's jump into our timeline, beginning with the inflection point, which was that Tucker Carlson speech. Now, I want to say this, on that July 11th, when Tucker Carlson gave that speech, I did, and I hope I'm not betraying anything too private here, but I asked Tucker about that speech.
You from St. Louis, so we don't like nobody that talk too much. Uncommon woman.
He's going hard. He's talking about where's all this money coming from, and you know, is this even a meritocracy? Like, why are people that are not impressive billionaires? What's happening in this country? I asked Tucker, what made you say that? And he said, I had no plan to say it. It just came out of my mouth. It was just inspired, just came out of my mouth when I hit the stage. There was no plan. Charlie said goes Max, and that is what Tucker riffs. And I do think that was a part of.
Hit that like button, subscribe right now, double tap that screen, family. Hit that like button right now.
July 11, Tucker
hit that notification bell on all right now.
And the donors freak out. Calls out Jeffrey Epstein. He says that people who serve in foreign armies should be stripped of their citizenship. He muses about Bill Ackman's wealth and where it comes from. We are told, even though we have not been able to confirm this with a shred of evidence, that it was 7 days later that the request came from to Turning Point USA from UVU's chapter, for Charlie to have this event. That's very late in the day already, but again, we see no proof of this. We do know that right after that,
where you been, Casey Custom? Where you been, Casey?
Plane flies to Lincoln, Nebraska, and 2 days later, it is announced in Nebraska that they're going to be doing a trade and investment trip with Egypt. There was some private off-record meeting that took place to make this come to fruition, and there were international professionals that were there per the media. But who were these professionals that met with Secretary of State Bob Evnen? Why is this meeting somehow off record? And when people, and they have done that, have requested information, they say, oh, there's nothing that's public that we can share with you. Thank you to, by the way, the citizens of Nebraska who did that. I received your emails even if I was not able to respond. Anyways, then it departs Nebraska, the Argello Plains, and it heads to Wilmington.
Suitcase.
And then it goes back to Cairo. We then know that in this same time frame-ish is when Charlie vacations up to Maine for a couple of weeks to be with his family, goes off radar. We've got Mikey McCoy and his wife, Eliza, that join them for the first time they're doing this joint family vacation. And Mike,
hold up, be quiet, Candace, for a minute. Let me let them know what's going on. Let's get it right, let's get it right, let's get it real, let's get right. You in here with your boy, Dilla T, and my family. And you know this is No Filters. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, subscribe right now. It's free. It ain't even no pressure. It's just free. You just take a finger and you just start pressing buttons for free. No pressure. You're not getting locked up. Ain't nobody holding you hostage. Ain't nobody starving you. Ain't nobody coming against you. Nobody's gonna shoot at you. Nobody's gonna stab you. Nobody gonna poke you. Nobody gonna leave you somewhere bleeding in the alley if you don't. Point is that it ain't nothing but your finger. Just hitting the like button, subscribing. Let me explain what's going on here. Candace is back outside. Now, most of you think that she is back outside because she's tough and she's a pit bull. But oh no, brother. That ain't the case at all. You need to understand who she's talking about. The people that she's talking about can change her life right now in the middle of this live. Right now, just press a button. Just like you can press like for free, they can just press a button and change her life right now. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a difference when we're talking about Candace Owens, because at some point, you need to understand how she's even able to do this. She's able to walk away, talk about being assassinated by a French president on live TV. Because you know YouTube is TV now. You need to understand what's going on here. No black woman in her position will never be able to do that unless she's the wife of somebody powerful, a part of an organization that's more powerful, or even both. But you need to understand, you just can't come talking like this and come outside and then say somebody's trying to kill you and then all of a sudden get put up and then come back outside and talk about the same people and talk about more deepening secrets to expose a French France president. Do you understand that they are allowing this to happen? I'm trying to get you to understand something. No one that's black or with this skin color or is will ever be able to do what she's doing if she's not connected. You must be involved to talk about it. You must be involved to know that they can shut it down. You must be involved to be controlled. There's no way that some French president, you can say that his wife is a man and then turn around and say they're trying to kill you publicly. And then come out with facts hidden from something she read about herself. And the fact that she's exposed that makes herself even more in jeopardy because she exposed it to the public people. So now she really got to go sit down somewhere because they about to get real 007 on her. You understand, fam? When the money bag is on your head, depending on who you are and what you're talking about, so we need to understand this ain't no thing about, oh, she's a pit bull. Oh, she's in control. She is a black woman. That's it. And no black woman has this level of power unless you're involved with them people to be talking like you talking. Oh, no, we know. See, we read in between the lines. We don't read the headline. We read the headline and we read in between the lines. Because at the end of the day, you are not able to have this level of power and talk like this in the public eye without them shutting you down. If you go check out my other, go check out the episode that I discussed about Candace, the first situation about her having to get put up. And in that, it shows these emails and these messages about a particular people that wanted to shut her down and shut her up in these messages. So if you go back and look at the Candace Owens episode, it's entitled Candace Owens something. It's going to show you the emails and messages of people talking about getting rid of her years ago. So my point that I'm trying to make in that is she's involved with them folk. Shout out to Brad. You know what it is. she involved with them people, because if they was talking about getting rid of her years ago, it never happened, and she's still been talking like this for a while. So that means you're a part of what you talk about. That's why you're not being touched. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You are a part of what you talk about, and that's why you're not being touched. And I keep explaining to y'all, when y'all are part of that system, you picking your position in that system. It's not that you're good or you're bad, or it's not that you're just bad and you're just bad and you're just worshiping devils and you're just bad. Oh no. You can be a good person, a part of that same system, playing your role in the controlled chaos. That's what we're talking about here, controlled chaos. And your position and role being played in it. And Candace's role in it is clearly to be an informant. She is clearly informing us of everything. But yet they don't touch her. And she can talk about every and everything, the worst of the worst. Even say that she's finna get threatened to be killed. Can go away and come back. You know her leaving and not doing her pod for a week. How many people she gained from that because of how real that looked it? Not saying that it wasn't, but it's just the fact that they allowed that to happen. And because they allowed that, she was able to get so many more followers, because these people really feel that her life is in jeopardy. And not nan one of y'all don't know who Candace Owens is. Come on here doing all that, she this, she that, she this. Shut up. You don't even know who she is. Ain't told you nothing. That girl done got on here just explain life. She ain't told you her background and what she do. And by the way, she was riding with them same people that she against now. Now she gonna make you think she against them. But that's just like Democrats and Republicans make you think they against each other, but all of them on Epstein Island together. Get your damn brain on. Get your eyes open and open up your ears. You keep reading the headline like you a part of the play. You keep reading the headlines like it's just, oh, that's the movie of the day. And you believe it. What is wrong with you? You hard-headed. Why would you believe that? You don't even know her. I don't even know her. But I know the facts of the system and how the system moves. See, when you know the system, you ain't got to know the folk or the people. You just know how the system moves. Once you know that, you know what this type of activity is. Ducks all the way. We're living in a time where the good is looked at as bad and bad is looked at as good. And they can just tell us anything. But if they can just tell you anything, you have nothing to stand on. And I feel sorry for you and your kids and your family. Because you have nothing to stand on. And what's really funny, Ryan, Anthony, let me tell you what's really funny. When you still listening to Candace and believing what you believe in, what's really funny when you don't have no direction, what's really funny is when your kids don't know what to do because they looking at you and you don't know what to do. That's funny, fam. That's real funny. Real funny. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Let's keep going because Candace got a lot. Because if you think about this for a second, the stuff she's saying right now could really get her toe up. Because now she's breaking down the family history of the DuPonts and what they've done that's been corrupt. See, now I believe she in deep shit. Because now you exposing their history. See, you can talk about his wife and call his wife a man. That's fine. We all did, probably. But now you getting into their family history and what they done did and the stuff they done to bury that. So she going down that rabbit hole and she probably might not come out that hole. But the point I'm making, this is when I know it's real. It wasn't real when she talking about, oh, my life in danger. Somebody might try to kill me. Oh, God. No. What's real is when you start talking about their family history and start bringing up the old stuff. And you start bringing up stuff that they've been trying to bury for years, that's already been buried by a court or a judge. And now you want to bring it back to life or to light. Oh, now they probably going to push up on a now. Oh, you better believe that now, Brad. You better believe that now, Chris. They probably going to get hands on a now. Because now she finna go down that road. See, you feeling me, Chris? So you got to understand, Chris, that's why we're here with No Filters. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'm trying to enlighten folks so they can understand what to look for when you see so many duck activity around you. Because duck activity is about to get real even more worse. But in the midst of duck activity, you need to be able to identify the real from the fake, the truth from the false, and facts and logic. Because it's a lot that's going to come up, and you're going to find yourself following the wrong people. So you need to be able to see, identify, inform, understand, and be aware. But you need to identify first. And what we're doing here, Robert, we are identifying duck activity. Okay? And then we allowing to put ourselves in a position to understand how it's going to go. And again, she's talking about the history of the DuPonts. So now I believe they're coming for it. Now, today, I believe they're coming. Because now she's talking about something that they've been trying to keep together. You can call people what you want. You can call them all of this. But we're here to understand, understand, and be aware that if it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, it's a duck. Because I'm tired of people seeing something, understanding what it is, looking dead at it, and they still don't believe it with their own eyes. So like I said, if it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, it's a duck. That's it. It ain't no walk like a duck, quack like a duck, and it's a elephant. See, that's the problem with us in this world. We're seeing things for what it is in our face, and yet we are still calling it something else. And it's in our face. So the scenario of me saying if it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, it's a duck. If you're walking like what you're doing, if you're talking like what you're doing, then damn it, you are what you're doing. That's the duck theory. That's the duck activity. And that's why I had to explain that to a lot of you new people here that's in our house right now tonight. Hit that like button, subscribe, double tap that screen. Hit that like button, subscribe, double tap that screen, become a member today. It's free. Point I'm making is that I want you to understand we have to stop seeing things as they are and calling it something else. Because it's always a starting point to know when something is on BS or something ain't right. And in that moment, we have to identify, understand, inform, and be aware. Hit that like button right now. Let's go.
He's capturing these last videos that are going to warm our hearts about Charlie. And he's like amazing. That's just how he is. And on July 25th, Charlie speaks in Westchester, New York. At the end of July, this is a new little update for you. YRefi comes in as the #1 sponsor of the Charlie Kirk Fall Tour. So this is end of July, early August. And
okay, Brad, we on the same page. You know we fam.
Why they did that then? Because that's pretty late in the day. Remember, this is something they freaked out about when I said, hey, this is not how turning point events come together. They're not instant, actually. In the history of me speaking on college campuses and having headlined these tours, they are planning them at least a semester ahead. And then it was like mass panic. I got like Lila Rose and Ali Stuckey, who have never headlined their tour, suddenly saying, that's not true, that's not true. What are you talking about? And like I'm talking about, I worked there, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And that was a weird thing to debunk. And I'm wondering, why was this put together so late in the day? And I am musing here, but I'm wondering if YRefi, after Charlie lost millions of dollars, said, hey, you can make that up by going on tour, you know? Like we are willing to do this. And maybe Charlie actually wasn't planning on going on tour at all. And this tour actually came together very quickly.
Shout out to you, Brad, with a duck hunter.
I'm not introducing that as
Are you a duck hunter?
A question. Anyways, back to our timeline. Right, Refi
Play with us.
Is going big, and they are gonna be the main sponsor of this fall tour, and that's how that came together. Then we know that in very early August, Turning Point was scouting that location and that event, and they specifically requested for Charlie to be in that amphitheater. Now, apparently Charlie had done, according to some insiders, had loved the event that he had done in an amphitheater environment in Nashville. But I don't know if he said, I only want to do that going forward. But I do know that Turning Point USA insisted upon that. The person that was orchestrating that event, Macy Crofts, was saying, look, this is what Charlie wants, and that could be true. August 2nd is when we have our French Legionnaires arriving in America for a 3-week training session in California, which is going to end on the 25th. And then a couple of days later, we have the Hamptons retreat, which Charlie Kirk himself described as an intervention.
Oh, my mom, I wrote it down.
Israel intervention. And influencers who were there said that he was being pressed on his shifting viewpoints on Israel. And we know that the influencers were paid for by Bill Ackman. I don't think that that's particularly a big deal. Obviously, he has interests and was potentially coming on as a donor for Turning Point USA. We have what I do think is a big deal, which is Bibi Netanyahu calling Charlie and offering to take Turning Point to the next level. And that, my friends, is the billion-dollar question, maybe the trillion-dollar question. In exchange for what? Have we considered that? This man is fighting like a 20-front war, and he calls Charlie Kirk and asks, do you want to come to Israel? We can take Turning Point to the next level. In exchange for what and through who? Because I'm going to guess that Bibi Netanyahu.
So she's saying that Israel called this man in the middle of what was going on and said they could take Turning Point to the next level. That's what she's saying. She's saying Israel and Yahoo, whoever that is. That's what she's saying. So this is why I want you to understand what's going on, because a duck can give you true information. That's 90%, 95 at that. But a duck will slide 5% lie in there real quick, because again, you are absorbed by the intelligence, the authentic portion of her, the articulate part of her, the speech, the understanding, also the humiliation, also the pity, the sorrow. Okay, so when you're pulled in and you're drawn to that, it will allow you to believe whatever and whatever. Right now, she could be talking and then just say a cow fell from the sky, and you're gonna believe it because it sounds so well. It all goes together so good. You understand? So we have to identify what we're talking about, because right now she just said about Israel calling Charlie Kirk and just all of a sudden saying, hey, we can turn your life upside down and make everything great again right now if you want to. And in my head, that was Trump in them. Let's get right in here. In my mind, that was Trump in them coming at Charlie, telling him what they wanted to do, and Charlie didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden, or matter of fact, let's say, we don't see Charlie no more. So now she is speaking out about it because the love she has for Charlie. But she's throwing certain things in that pot, certain seasonings that ain't true and that is true. So it makes it hard to decipher the taste of what she's serving us right now. You understand? It makes it hard to decipher the taste because of the levels of seasoning she's adding to that pot. It's not all true and it's not all right. And the ways that it is true or not is different. Chris said something about Erica sealed the deal. What she do, Chris? And Joshua says, I want to believe. Which part? You want to believe me or you want to believe Candace? Because the important part of it is, if you want to believe me, I can break down even more for you to understand how serious this is and why you need to know. that people like Candace Owens are in positions of power because of who they with. First off, this black girl by herself will not survive in this world today doing what she's doing and talking how she's talking in the level of power that she's been around. You understand me? These are the things that we have to break down to ourselves to understand what controlled chaos is and understand the positions of the people that they use and choose to put in place to make sure that we stay where we are at mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. She's another industry plant, and I appreciate you, Fiara Fryer. Shout out to you, family. Another industry plant. And just like they plant them guys in the music industry, they plant them girls in politics industry. You understand? So even again, let me say this very important point again. We found emails and messages talking about getting rid of Candace Owens years ago, when she was talking about coming against this other GOP person that was in the DOJ, a black woman. And as of late, Candace won that deposition lawsuit that the girl had against her. So I'm just telling you that they already came against her for this stuff back then. So that's how you know that they are allowing her to still do this now. Are you not getting what I'm saying? Open up your damn ears. If she was talking about this back then and they was talking about getting at her and nothing ever happened, she's still here now. So clearly that was fake, because if they wanted her, they can get her like they got Charlie Kirk. What are you talking about? Anybody can be touched. What are we talking about her? Point I'm making is, if she was on this back then and they didn't do nothing, they still allowing her to talk about it today. And if it was a big problem, they would have been got rid of her, because the long stretch of years and her talking would have caused more problems. It would have exposed so much. But yet she's still here. She's still on YouTube and she's sitting right there. What are we talking about? With that big ass cross in the background. What are we talking about? And you don't even know what's on that cross, by the way. Just like I was looking at Cam Newton's set. You know Cam Newton be sitting there doing interviews with the most retarded people in the world. But I look at the set all of a sudden and I see the Baphomet sign in the corner like this is right here on the desk. It's just sitting there. I never seen it. But it's just a fact. Why is it in the picture? You understand, Chris? Why is it in the picture? And that's why I tell you, fam, these people are connected. That's why they have to have these things in their backgrounds to represent who they're with and what they're doing and their allegiance to the cause. They have to do it, Chris. Ain't gotta, it's a have to do. And if you don't, you dead. What you talking about? So this is why I'm trying to tell you, these are things we have to look for and make sense of, noticing that when you walk into a situation, you should be able to identify key things in that room that will let you know what you're in and what you're being a part of. That's without talking to nobody. That's without hearing nobody say nothing. You need to be able to walk in and identify things that are right or wrong, because what? We stand on what we believe in, and if it don't line up with what we believe in, something's wrong. Joshua said, what's our move then? What our move is we sit back and be patient and we listen. Because as the days continue to come, they continue to give us new information, new things, new this, new that. So really, there's not a plan that you can really draw up right now, because they continue to give you new evidence, new things to plan for. Let me say that again. We don't have a plan right now because they continue to give us new things to plan for. So what I do know is that we have to stop empowering Chat GPT. We have to stop empowering AI. That's one plan. Because as we keep giving AI and chat life, it's going to live and it's going to become something more than us. Powerful being. That's a computer. That's the first thing we need to stop doing for sure. And then and again, we need to be able to identify, understand, inform, and be aware. And because of those things, but see, people don't want to stop feeding AI because they've made AI convenient. They don't want to stop Chat GPT because it's convenient. This is what the world is going to be against us. It's going to be a convenience against survival. Let me say that again for the people in the back. It's going to be convenience against survival. Because everything they making is telling you is for your convenience, but really, it's for them to survive. And it's for you to not be here. Once you start understanding that, once you start seeing that the good is looked at as bad and bad is looked at as good, that's just like cameras on street lights. You would think that was looked at as good, but it's really looked at as bad because that's going to be a part of martial law. They're going to be able to see everything going on in the streets. And if you not signed up with the RFID chip, or if you not registered with what they want to do in life, they can see your dumb ass running around the streets on a street light camera. And now they know, oh, there go Larry right there running. Oh, there go G right there. Oh, there go Chris over there running. There go Brat over there running, trying to get away. There go Joshua over there chilling, trying to get a breather because he's trying to get away. They see you. Oh, I'm right. And I'm right about Candace. And I'll give you evidence that you don't have, Robert, about Candace. Boy, acting like it's your sister, like that's your cousin. That's your auntie, that's your mama. It definitely ain't. So I know you don't need to be standing on business like that for somebody you don't even know. And then when you find out facts about them, people be so emotional. You see how they do with these idols? That's why they got that show called American Idol. They have to give us these idols to believe in, to see more than we see ourselves, because we all the same. Think about it. Every actor, every human being is all the same. We just humans. But yet, they got to pick certain people to become an idol for you to look at something, to believe in something more than you. And when you see that human on that stage, or that human on that mantle, you see them in a higher light. You see them as more than what we can become. You see them as something to dream of, to believe in, to be more than who we are now. When they pumping the same blood out of their veins, same flesh, they gotta wash their ass, and the same shit stink. So don't sit up and talk to me about tripping when it come down to giving these people our idols, or allowing these people to be who they are in our lives. And then when they bust your little bubble, or they bust your balloon, or they take the air out of your pride, or the air out of your what you thought was real, that's when you become hurt. Because you invested all that love into somebody you don't even know. Shout out to Laura. Laura, become a member right now. Hit that like button, subscribe right now, Laura. She said, thank you for speaking the truth. See, and I appreciate you acknowledging that. But we got to understand, like Fryer says, in our lifetime, you will see an AI Jesus, the ultimate idol. And it's there now. But the way we have to be able to break that down is stop everybody in their tracks, like Candace Owens. And we have to demand truth from her. We have to demand, who do you work for? We have to demand, who is your husband? We have to demand, why you didn't talk about this, but you talked about that. We have to demand, why are you doing this now, but you didn't do that then? These are the questions we have to ask. Because when you start asking them questions, that's when she not going to answer. That's when she not going to have nothing to say. Because why? When things are scripted, let me explain something to you. No, you come here. No, you don't go nowhere. Get you something to drink, get you something to eat, and get you something to smoke if that's what you do right now. Do it right now. Because I'm finna tell you something. Do it right now. I'm getting me something to drink right. Everybody take a 2 seconds. Get you something to drink, something to smoke, something to eat right now. I hope it's on the side of you. I hope it's with you right now. You hear me? Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. And see, who is this Nick M8909? Thank you, LaShawn. LaShawn says, of course not, Nick. Cause you see when you start blowing people bubble that believe in people, and you start bringing that person down off of that high, big mantle that they own, that mantle, yeah, that's when they start feeling some type of way. And then they start talking about, okay, well, if she bad, name all bad stuff she did. Boy, is you stupid? Is you stupid? You think I'm gonna name all the bad and the good and the ugly for you to take me serious today? Or for you to believe what I'm saying? Or for you to even just take note? I gotta name all the bad she did, then good. Boys, you stupid. She's a human being. She done bad and good, just like you. But because you love her so much, don't mean I'm gonna explain everything that's been done good and bad for you to be on my side. No, this ain't that, partner. Name one. Erica Kirk. She never went in on Erica Kirk. And when she went in on Erica Kirk, that's when they allowed her to go in on Erica Kirk. At a dead time. At a time when it became dead. She never went in on Erica Kirk when the whole world went on Erica Kirk. And we were seeing all of the stuff Erica Kirk was doing. Even down to the last J.D. Vance rub on his neck, the back of his head. Oh yeah, see, they ain't want to say nothing about none of that. They ain't want to say nothing about Erica. They ain't want to bring her up. They ain't want to break her down. You understand? So when I tell you that again, she's only able to talk about certain things and not all things. That's when we know who she's a part of. LaShawn Beezer said, what did Erica Kirk do? If you've been around in this world, then you will know Erica Kirk has benefited from Charlie Kirk's death, and that she's been working right hand with Trump and J.D. Vance, the same people that's crooked involved with the situation, or the war in the building. You understand? That's what Erica has done. And then also, when you look back to Erica's life, Erica is an Eastern Star Mason. She's also involved with her dad. Her mother and dad is involved with high operations in the government. Been going on for years. Also, she plays a role in the movie that plays a role in that shooting that happened. So everything is all tied in and put together. And us as content creators, when we broke this down about Erica, because you know when one of us do it, all of us do it. So when we broke it down about Erica Kirk, Candace was the only content creator that didn't touch that. You understand me? TC Factor 5494. She was the only one that didn't touch it. And you had content creators literally going back, years back, decades back, trying to uncover Erica Kirk's part in this. Candace Owens literally know Erica one-on-one and Charlie. She holding them and love them. You can't sit back and tell me that she couldn't have dissected that and went right in on her right there. But she didn't. Because if Candace would have said it, they would have made it look like it was really true. Why? Because she was in the inner circle of all of them. So if she said, then you know it's going to be like, oh, okay, we believe her because she was there. She was with them. She's worked with them. She was employed by them. She's seen much with these people. You understand? No. Erica Kirk is accused of benefiting from the deaths and being accused of having something of some way to do with the death, and being accused of knowing that the organizations that they are a part of plays a role for his death. So she's not gonna come out and say, hey, that's who got rid of this, or that's who did this, or this who did. No, that ain't happening, partner. See, it don't work like that. And it's funny because y'all be wanting stuff to come out just like that. See, the stupid stuff come out like that. But that real stuff, oh no, it don't come out like that. You understand? It don't come out like that. Stupid stuff will come out just like she said, oh my God, somebody trying to kill me. Stupid stuff like that will come out. But if that was real, that wouldn't have came out like that, partner. You understand? Back in that day, that would have never came out like that. She wouldn't have never been able to even say that like that, because she was scared about the people that's coming for her. And she's talking about another government that's coming for her. Don't play with them. And our own government can call secret society spies, hit men. I mean, we can do it all. So you telling me that's normal for another government talking about they got money on her head? Like that's niggas in the streets? No, it ain't. That ain't no street stuff. So that's why I'm telling you, fam, you got to understand there's more and it's deeper to this than just that. But I want you to understand when something is scripted. When you, let me explain something to you about a script. You can only go by the script so much. Because think about it, actors can only go by a script so much. But when they get into that character role for real, they start to freestyle. They start to feel themselves. They start to really become that person and get off the script. Because now they are invested emotionally in that character and physically. They change appearance and all that. The point I'm making is you can only follow the script so long if you're not built as an actor. Let me say that again, because I don't think somebody understands what's going on here. You can only follow a script so long if you're not an actor. And it seems like Candace Owens is tired of following the script. Yeah, Chris, because Boo said this a bunch of BS I don't know. That's why he don't believe. So he should go kick rocks. You should go kick bricks, kick water, kick air. You just need to kick up out of here. Because you just came in here talking shit, but you don't even know nothing. So when he just asked that, Chris, and you talking about why you don't believe, the man just said because he don't even know. That's why he don't believe, because he don't know. So you got a lot of dumbass people out here like that don't know nothing, so they don't believe nothing. See what I'm saying? So when facts come across, they lost. They just hearing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then when they hear some new theory, it's like, oh, I ain't even know that, but it sounds stupid. What? How can you call it BS and you don't even know nothing stupid? Boy, it sound dumber than dumb. What? You under dumb. What's under dumb? And I pray you ain't grown. And I pray you ain't no kid. But if you are grown up, under dumb. Man, somebody please tell me what's under dumb. Because stupid is over dumb. What is under dumb? Coward? Probably. But don't let cowards come in here talking stupid and be trying to figure out something and then tell you it's BS because they don't even know what you're talking about. What? Find yourself, man. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Let's go.
Who's not just going to write a check signed by Bibi Netanyahu and just do that as an act of charity. In exchange for what? What's he going to take Turning Point
I
to
ain't
the
know
next
the
level?
Macrons were
This is
taking it
something
to
that
court.
nobody has denied took place. No one has denied that this took place.
LaShawn, that's why
And
it seemed like
Charlie
what? What you talking about?
declined.
Say, you seem like what? What?
Charlie declined that offer. So what that signals to me is that Charlie then had information about maybe how they move money, right, without registering for FARA. I don't know. I think that's a big question that needs to be asked. Let's keep going on to this timeline. Charlie says no, and almost immediately, 10 days later, we got our next point is that our planes come back out and they're flying to Lincoln again, going to Omaha,
yeah, but
going to Wilmington.
the real thing is, like, when we talking about, it ain't about even Charlie doing bad. It's about Charlie found out about something. It's about somebody came to Charlie with something, and Charlie turned it down. Because you can actually see his reaction in the video where they was finding out about something. He was like, not this again. Like, we gotta do that. And it's funny because if you could see it, if you could see his reaction to certain stuff, he really started like turning away from things, being involved with them. And then when we got his best friend talking about how he knew somebody was coming weeks before. He knew somebody was coming weeks before the assassination. So that means he was fully aware of something that he wasn't being part of again, and people wanted him out of the way. So now when you think about Turning Point USA, who's involved? Erica Kirk is the owner of the company in his demise. J.D. Vance, vice president, has come a part of Turning Point USA in his demise. The other guy who was running alongside with him being a voice for Turning Point, he is now the spokesperson of Turning Point USA in Charlie's demise. So when we talk about the Macron sending Candace to court and things of that nature, that's a big deal. Because I really didn't know how involved they've been doing it. But if you think about it, this has already been out. So if it's already been out, fam, what is the difference between back then and today? Charlie Kirk. So when they talk about using something and then using a distraction and using something and putting it together, and then coming up with a hypothesis or theory to support it. This is when you really become stupid if you don't have a brain. Because you need to be able to identify when they create confusion and mix it with logic. When you mix confusion and logic and put it in the same sentence, that's a bad recipe for disaster, because it's truth and false in that. And Boo N3P is still here talking about money, you dummy. But why you here? If you got to call me dumb and all that, why you here, fam? What city you from, Boo? What city you in right now? Boo N3P. Let's give it a minute. Let's ask Boo N3P what city you from. Tell me where you at right now, partner. What city you in right now? What place, what area you in right now? Can you tell me that? Since you calling me names and shit. Can you tell me what zone you in right now? You mind? Since you tough and you stand on business, can you tell me where you at right now? What city, what country, where you at right now? Ray said we all need to just post in our own profiles. I am Candace to show them how many people are watching and believe her. We all need to just post in our own profiles. I am Candace to show them how many people are watching and believe her. Okay, I don't understand what you mean by that, Ray. But if you could break that down, and then I'll understand. I'll try to. Yeah, Chris, Gorilla. That might be Gorilla. That might be Gorilla in a different name, you know? But yeah, boo, when you get a chance, let me know where you at and what you talking about, partner. Because you talking shit like you can't be touched from a distance. And I don't like that. Because you know we can reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can. Yeah, boo. That's for you, partner. When you get a chance, run that back. Because it's duck hunting season, Chris. And it's like that, nigga. Okay. Ray was saying post I am Candace. Oh, he in support. He like post I am Candace. Oh, okay, that was up, G. We definitely don't want nobody to do nothing to her. But we'll reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yeah, if you can. Watch your mouth. Watch your tone. And keep your hands on your head. What they say in Players Club? Ha ha! Put that boy in the back of that trunk and say, watch your mouth, watch your tone, and keep your hands on your head. Oh man, this stuff be so lovely up in here. Hit that like button right now. Double tap that screen. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. It's a real thing. Let's go.
One night, Charlie speaks in South Carolina. We have our yellow planes then returning on the 24th, again, always through Wilmington to Egypt. We then have our French Legionnaires have completed their training, and on August 24th, 27th, Operation
where you been, man? Hit that like button, double tap. You see the super chat? You see the no filters cash out? Show the love. It's love, fam. I appreciate it.
Then we have the first public sign that went out on August 27th.
I'm with you, Nick.
August was so late in the day.
Not that funny.
Begin promoting an event. TPUSA, UVU, and a local BYU chapter share a graphic announcing that Charlie is coming to UVU, but there are no location details mentioned on that graphic, so still not full details, but at least the first announcement goes out. On the 29th, we have Operation Bright Star, which commences, that joint operation that we told you about, which is biennial between Egypt and the United States military and other countries that are coming together, and it is being reported that it is going to run through to September 10th. On September 2nd, Charlie sends out the email asking for a Doge audit of his company, and he announces that Justin Strife is going to be the new COO, taking over for Tyler Boyer, who was the COO. And then
Eugene in the building, good to see you, my brother. I appreciate you.
The first known public going out in local media that Charlie's coming to town and that it is going to take place in the courtyard. That's on September 2nd, okay? On September 4th, our planes come in and we know what happens next. Charlie is in Korea for a couple of days. He comes back on September 10th and he gets assassinated. And that also happens to be the same day that Operation Bright Star, that Cairo joint operation formally ends. Okay, so that timeline makes me uncomfortable.
We got the salty ego talking.
It makes me very uncomfortable, and I'm wondering if Charlie put together the Doge account.
We got homie talking.
I want to this part of speculation because something that he maybe learned when BB asked to take it to the next level made him think maybe I should look through Turning Point's finances, like where is this money coming in from and where is it going? And I don't know that for a fact, but I think it's a fair question, a fair investigative question is what inspired Charlie to suddenly be concerned about not just where the money was
Shout out
going,
to you,
but where
Lord.
the money was coming from. It was an offer made to him that he declined. Yes. What was that offer for in exchange? And I want to say this, Charlie said no. So Charlie died with his soul intact. Died with his soul intact. He said no. He said no to a lot of money. But it was actually a tip that I received early on.
So who in here talking that mouth right now? Because you telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, but she just said what I'm talking about. She said Charlie Kirk kept his soul instead of the money. Don't ever come in here talking about I'm bashing somebody making assumptions off assumptions. What I'm talking about is facts, partner. And if you knew this, you wouldn't say what you saying because you would have looked this up and known it for yourself. So please don't ever say again that I'm bashing somebody about assumptions. None of this is assumed at all. I just said what she just said, but she said it. Charlie Kirk was presented with money. He didn't take it. He was in a position to sell his soul. He didn't do it. Oh, my bad, because it was already gone. See, the number on his hat represents 47. Shout out to Friday with the $1 donation in the super chat is love. See, the biggest thing is knowing that he never took it. And the 47 that's on his hat plays a role in the organization he's involved in. See, don't come in here talking. Don't come in here walking. Don't come in here running your mouth. If you don't know, sit back and listen. If you feel some type of way about, oh, well, I think this because this is what I feel happened. You know how many people say, this is what I feel happened. Or this is what I think happened. Or I feel like Candace is this, but I feel like she won't do that. I feel like the governor is gonna, I feel like this is that. Shut the fuck up about your feelings. Because you might want to be reminded that the world goes off logic, not off feelings. That's another reason why you ain't in the position you need to be in. Because you still got feelings. Running your mouth, all these messages, typing all of that, typing, be texting, and you just going off of what you feel. You don't even know shit. Do not be educated in stupidity. Do not be educated in stupidity. Do not have a high IQ for stupid. Because you keep thinking that your feelings is what's moving the day. But I'm here to tell you it's not. That's another reason why you're still in the position you in, because you keep talking about, I feel like this today is going to happen. I feel like it should be cold today, and you find out it's hot. Or you feel like, I feel like this is a good day to be hot, but you find out it's cold outside. You feel like it should be this because of that, but you feel like you know Candace, but you don't even know her. You feel good. And these times are feeling something that says something. But I'm here to tell you, those feelings are false when it comes to logic. Because logic is black and white. It's what it is. 2 + 2 gonna equal 4, regardless if you wanted to or not, or regardless how you feel it should be. It's what it is. So I'm here to tell you again, when you're not a real actor, you're not gonna go with the script so long. Because at some point, when you're a real actor, you know how to take that script and turn it into something real. You know how to bring the script to life. That's exactly what they do on Wild 'N Out. It's scripted, but up into a T. It's scripted up into a certain point. Or everything they do is off the dome. So I'm telling you again, let's stop talking like we know what we're talking about if we don't know what we're talking about. That's not coming here and tell people to shut up when you don't even pay attention to nothing being done. And let's not act like we not together as humans. See Pool in the building. I see you, family. I appreciate you pulling up. Want to enlighten you, bring you some light to what's going on. Candace Owens back outside talking. I'm telling fam that it ain't because of her. It's because of the people that allows her to be in this position to talk. And I just want everybody to understand that when you understand the formula, when you understand the foundation, when you understand this is what goes together, period, you will never be blindsided by something like this. Or you'll never be blindsided by something you feel is good or feel is bad. You will never be blindsided when you walk into a room and you see things that don't go together. In fact, you walk into a room, you ain't even got to say nothing. Ain't nobody got to say nothing to you. You can walk into the room and identify what's going on for you to say, this is what it is, this is how it is, and this is what I need to do. That is what you're learning here when you come to No Filters. When you hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member today, you're learning how to stand on business and identify the evil in your face. Identify the setups in your face. Identify the false teachings in your face. This is what we're here for, to identify, inform, understand, and be aware. Because if we can't do that, you're going to be messed up out here for your kids. You're going to walk yourself and your family into places where you're blinded and everything is going on in front of you and you still can't call it like it is because you don't know where to start. See, I've been studying and knowing about folk that come talking like this. And when we're talking about the elite and people that are chosen to be in positions and people that are chosen to be glorified that year or that month or that season. It's a reason why they pick people for these seasons. Just like you pick a single for a song to drop at a certain time, it has to fit that season probably. Just like women get their nails done. When it's winter, they get winter colors. Oh, let me get right in here. Let's act like we know. Somebody hear me. Like women, when they get their nails done, they get winter colors, summer colors, spring colors. There is order and a structure to everything we do. So when you identify that something is out of order or something is out of structure or something ain't lining up the right way it should, you should be able to identify, call it what it is, and turn away and know what to do. And I've been doing that ever since. I've been able to walk into situations. I've been able to meet people and don't even ask them what they do and what's up. It's just I can identify the character in who they are. And it'll further tell me their story before they even open their mouth. That's the time we living in, fam. You need to be able to read somebody's story for they walk up and open their mouth about their life. Why? Because now we become proactive. Somebody better hear me today. Somebody better be telling somebody this. Somebody be telling somebody this right now. You become proactive. That means you get ahead of things. All around your world. There's a discretion for everything, family. So that's when we're talking about being proactive and being able to identify things. We're able to see it for what it is. And I want each and every one of y'all to be able to pull up in a situation and identify the negative, the bad, the ugly, and how it could hurt you and what you need to do in that situation. And I also need you to put up in a situation where you see the good, the greatness, and the blessings and how you can identify that for you. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, subscribe right now. We going. Let's do it. We cooking.
That pulled everything together for me in a really dark way. It was water cooler talk at Turning Point USA immediately after Charlie's assassination. A few people had signified and were speculating and thinking about things that were weird. And, you know, I told you we had so many people from Turning Point USA that were just venting in our tip box and telling us that they didn't like the way management was acting and things were weird. And there were just a flurry of things that were coming in. And a few of them had signified that one of the things that was being whispered about that people thought was quite odd that they learned that happened on the day of Charlie's assassination was a rumor pertaining to Justin Strife. An oddly placed phone call that he made almost immediately, as they say. This is alleged. It wasn't on the phone call after Charlie was shot. And I will say allegedly because there's 6 people at Turning Point USA who have said this, that were talking about this. This rumor got passed around. They said that Justin had placed an immediate call to a donor prospect. And I said, that's weird, okay? I'd like to know more about that. Can everybody try to figure out what donor that was? Now, it's possible it could have just been a very close donor friend. Charlie had them. He did. There were some donors that he loved like family members. And so that was a potential long shot thing, but just interesting. I'd like to know who he was so close to that required an immediate call. Then it turns out that these ladies told me that this donor actually had a pretty big piece of bait on the hook for Turning Point USA. A piece of their billion-dollar company. They were anticipating some IPO, and that this was going to be life-changing money, okay? We're not talking like, oh, a check that's gonna be reeled in for $5 million or $10 million or $50 million or like the $90 million that Turning Point USA raised in the first couple of weeks following Charlie's assassination. We are talking like billionaire money, potentially billions of dollars, and this was a very big secret, a huge secret. Just a handful of people were allowed to even know about this, that this was happening. In fact, there's probably people that are watching this right now at Turning Point USA who work in donations. I think it's a pretty large department, and have no idea, I've never even heard of this, because that's how incredibly top-level secret this was, okay? But people began to find out about this because of just an unfortunate conversation that had been left unattended to, okay? Now, why was the secret supposed to be so guarded? Why is this person getting a phone call? I wanted to know more. And I start messaging our mommy sleuths and our daddy sleuths and all of my sources at Turning Point USA, and I'm saying anything that you can tell me about this in case this might be important. And I got an answer on the name of a donor, and I had completely forgotten because, again, this happened so early following the assassination. I am talking before I even went to Wyoming. My brain was still traumatized. I had so much information that I was trying to process while I was grieving that I literally forgot the big part that I learned.
You hear that? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's the part I'm talking about. When I say you get all of that truth, 90%, 95%, and then they throw a little lie in there, 5% lie. That woman just gave you all of the information. Said that that man made a created call to a donor after immediately Charlie Kirk passed. And she said she didn't forgot the name because it was back then. Bro, she don't look like a woman that's gonna miss a name. She dotting down times, maps, locations, everything. She got names of even the most strong named people in the world. Some of these names you can't even pronounce. Why? Because they're French or they're Russian. And you telling me you forgot the name of the people that you against? Of a donor. that we know all the money has went to, because this donor makes up half of Turning Point Company. Don't sit in here and keep playing with me about no Candace Owens, y'all. Tired of you riding with somebody that you don't even know. And then you riding with somebody. Everything I'm telling you that they doing is being done. I just told you she gonna give you 90 to 95% truth. And then she gonna throw some little stupid ass lie in there. And when she threw it in there, she like, oh, I can't even believe it. I can't believe it. It was so much going on. You, woman, it is still so much going on. And you telling me that's your excuse about why you don't have the name of what's going on? You give us every name of everybody, but you ain't got the name of this one situation. You just explained this so well, but yet you do not know the name of the people you done wrote down. That girl got every name from Jesus to Jerusalem, and you telling me she don't know these people's name. Shout out to Nene Love Savvy TV with $1,000 sticker in her. You better hear what I'm saying. Ain't no way we're going to allow that. So when I tell you that I stand for something and I don't fall for everything, you better get on board today. You hear me? Because again, she just said what I've been saying, and she said more than I've already said. Charlie Kirk was approached about money and something deeper than what he was in, and he turned it down. And all of a sudden now he ain't heard no more. I said that. And then I said that we got people like this that's in position that can only say so much, but they not going to say the real facts. They're going to dance around it, give you everybody's name. But when it matters most, you not going to get that one name that connects it all together. And that's why she just said, oh my God, I missed the name. I forgot I didn't even know what. It was so much going on. Girl, you got the French trying to kill you. How you telling me so much going on? You don't know nobody's name. But the moment you talking about people trying to assassinate you, you still know everybody's damn name. But you don't know this person's name? This is what I'm talking about identifying duck activity. Identifying people that's going to tell you a little bit, tell you a little something, a lot of something, a lot of little bit. You ever heard of a lot of little bit? Excuse me. You ever heard of a lot of little bit? Or you ever heard about a lot of nothing? You better get right up in here and understand it's really real. Savvy TV going up with the 100,000 on the 100 on that. It's real. Or sit up in here and act like we tripping. These folk out here playing a certain role, and I'm trying to get you to identify what's real and what ain't, without you having to ask no questions or without nobody coming up telling you what's going on in the room. You should be able to come in and read the room. And for you not to do it, you must be blind. Stevie Wonder, boy, you better hit that like button, subscribe right now. It's worth it. You're going to learn how to read the room. You're going to learn how to stand on business. You're going to learn something today.
About this donor.
Acting like you don't know about the donor.
I forgot. And these young women told me that this donor was French American. And that this donor's name was Pierre. And it wasn't until yesterday after we went off air that I presented to you all of the stuff about the DuPont family, that it clicked, and these ladies messaged me and said, oh, you figured it out. It's Pierre DuPont. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. I had mentioned Pierre DuPont on yesterday's show, and this took my breath away.
So she's saying,
I cried.
She said Turning Point is working with the DuPont.
My goodness, how could I have forgotten that this donor is French American, that was the big thing. And
she's saying that the man running Turning Point, old dude, he called the donor, and the donor, after Charlie Kirk passed away, he called him and said, he gone. And the donor was the DuPont. Same people she's saying coming after them. Ooh-wee. You can tell me this ain't a movie. This ain't TV in your face. You can't tell me this ain't Netflix in your face. Boy, this Amazon Prime. This BET. You understand? You better hear me. Yeah. This the cooking channel too. Hit that like button, subscribe right now. We cooking it hurt. Boy, that boy just said, oh my God. Now I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. Because as much as this sounds so crazy, as much as this is a distraction too from really what's going on in the world. You better hear me now. Let me say that again. As much as you hearing that this is crazy, this is a distraction from what's going on in the world. Now you need to know, Tanya in the building, you need to know that people like Candace are a part of a distraction. When I say controlled chaos, she can have her every reason for talking, speaking up, and moving how she moving because of Charlie Kirk. But they know that this is a distraction from the world because she continues to want to know who got at Charlie Kirk when she knows who's gotten at Charlie Kirk. But and if she don't know, they will continue to use her to be that distraction because they know that she is whammed up on nothing but trying to find out about Charlie Kirk. But yet they're going to put her out there to us to keep us distracted. Just like I'm sitting here showing y'all her. See, I'm showing y'all her so y'all can know that this duck activity right here don't need, so y'all can identify this. I'm not showing you her so we can distract what's going on from the government and today. Because I'm telling you, everything that's going on is a distraction. But I'm showing you her so you can know that this is how it comes in this wolves and sheep's clothing. This is how it looks at times. Not every time, but they even have people like this. And you better hear me today. They even have people like this, where you can hear one episode of her and fall in love with whatever she say. It's nothing against Candace. It's nothing against what she's going through. It's nothing against what she's standing for. But I'm telling you something. I'm against who she's with. And because of that, family, we have to identify the good from the bad. We have to identify the light from the darkness. We have to identify, understand, inform, and be aware. It used to be inform, understand, and be aware. I used to be understand, inform, and be aware. Now we got to identify first. Then we got to understand, inform, and be aware. That if it walk like a, talk like a, we know what it is. And we refuse to do it any other type of way because you have a lot of people coming in like, bro, Candace is, I love her. Why you talking about her bad? People coming in like, I love Candace, but I don't know what she did. What happened? You understand what I'm saying? Don't even know her. That's just, I love her. I love her. And folk don't even know this person. She don't know who she married. And see, let me tell you something. There's a lot of black women looking at her like, oh no, you married that white man or that mixed man or that whatever man. While y'all talking all that talk, she's not supported how you think because of some of the decisions she's made that makes our community look different. And to each is his own, but I'm just telling you, all of y'all in here talking about Candace like that, there's a lot of people that don't agree with her, a lot of things she's done. Now, personal reasons, fine. But at the end of the day, you cannot be leading us to doom. You cannot be leading us to believe in something that's just false. You cannot be leading us on a false narrative so they can keep away from what's really going on. That's what you got to understand, fam. When you involved with them people, they have you talking about everything but what's going on. And Candace Owens continues to talk about Charlie Kirk, France presidents, Israel, and things of that nature. She continues to do it. She ain't even found a way to start talking about something new or something else or just something. All that she's on is Charlie Kirk. And at some point, if nothing is done for the facts that she keeps bringing, let me say this again and start that over. If nothing is done for the facts and the hypocrisy she keeps continuously talking about, and the things that's happened with Turning Point and who they're working with, if nothing is done, you will know further that they allowed her to talk about this as long as they could to distract us. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about big things like this, there has to be change, or something's gonna make a difference. Because they allow it to. But in this case, you're gonna know that they allowed her to keep talking about this to distract us. They didn't allow her to keep talking about this to make a change in the system, to make a change on anything moving forward. You hear me? Josh said, what don't they want us to see? The coming of the Antichrist. They don't want us to see the system that they believe in. They don't want us to see the religion that they believe in. They don't want us to know the things they stand by, the sickening things that they do for rituals. This is what they don't want us to see. Please don't ask that no more, fam, because I can break down a lot of stuff they don't want you to see. But you need to understand that we starting to see it here in 2026. And that could be a reason why they're allowing us to see these things. Because they want us to know who they are and how they work and what they want us to line our lives up with. That could really be the thing here. All of this is coming out now. It never came out then. Think about it. It's a lot of stuff you seeing on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. A lot of stuff you seeing. But a lot of that stuff was from back in the day. And you seeing it now. Diddy, Biggie Small, Jay-Z. A lot of these names of people, Fat Joe, Kanye, doing a lot of stuff back then. And we seeing it now. So that lets you further know that it's a reason why they letting it out now to be seen. They letting you know why they letting us know what's going on. Because they are in that reckoning age of takeover. And if you ain't in line, they're going to run over you. If you don't do what they need you to do, they're going to run over you. Like Mary said, hit that like button, subscribe, Mary, you family. She just brought a great point. Like she said, exactly, we only see what they let us see. She understand what I'm saying. And now they want us to see all of this craziness. They want us to see corruption. They want us to continue to hurt. They wanted us to see Diddy. Shout out to you, Mary, for subbing, family. It's a real thing. Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. We heard your boy Dilla T and my family. We're going to learn something. You hear me? It's a reason. That's why I keep telling people I be so amped when I see stuff like this, because I'm like, they are allowing Candace to talk. And then when we talk about seasons, the times, they are allowing this time for this to happen. It's a reason. And after this time, it's going to be, if you don't fall in place with what you've seen, martial law, anarchy, and chaos will come about. People will be removed. People will be locked up against their will. But if you want to stay on this earth and do things that you have to do on this earth, you're going to have to have allegiance to something you don't believe in right now. There's a reason why we're seeing all of this. There's a reason. Hit that like button, subscribe. They want us to know what they're doing. And they want us to know that it's coming.
I was racking my brain trying to figure out that time, because I hadn't even considered France's involvement in anything. Like, who do I know that's French and has tons of money and is involved in technologies and could possibly be working on a big check that could be kept secret because it's about to IPO and billions are on the line? And And it all kind of came together, and I would like an answer about this Pierre, the billionaire French-American donor, and I would like a clean answer as to whether or not it is Mr. Pierre DuPont. Yeah. Because this would be a devastatingly dark story.
And then what's somebody gonna do about it? Nothing.
Very sure that this is what was on the line, that this was life-changing money, and they are very sure that this individual got a phone call after.
But you see how I just said it's the time of us knowing everything? This is their time of telling us stuff. They even allowing her to tell us this type of stuff, because I'm telling you, it was a time where you couldn't say stuff like this. You would have never been able to say that a French president's wife is a man, one. Two, you'd have never been able to talk about their past dealings in their country and the corruption they've had to deal with the FBI. No, 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 no. Just not happening. Ain't going on today. And the fact that they have let so much happen in our ears and eyes today, it looks like it's fitting to just say what she said, and we're going to be okay with it. Why? Because we've heard so much corruption that we just don't even care what come through these ears. We don't even care what come through these ears. So it's like, what then better way to say it to just say it, because we've heard and seen all the other stuff and been like, okay, wow, oh my God. I mean, like, we're traumatized by it, but it's become so comfortable, just like living in the hood, living in the projects. We've heard the gunshots, we've seen the dope fiends. My mama stayed next door with us to a dope house on our right and our left. My brother was robbed. My other brother walked out, hitting a pistol in the back of his head in the basement. Yeah. So it's different when we talking about being in these places and what represents these places and what will be coming out of these places, because this will never have came out of these places at these times. So for now, it's only fitting that it's coming out now because of how much retarded going on with Trump. How much bad corrupt with Epstein. How much we've heard that's just bad. And then we see Charlie Kirk assassinated in broad daylight at a college in front of all white people. No blacks, really. That further lets you know how they're trying to change what we're looking at. Lust of the eye, pride of life. Chris said you would have been banned for that. You would have been locked up and put under the jail cell, fam. So I'm telling you, it's a time right now that they are revealing and letting those reveal it to us. And it's people like Candace Owens that I feel bad for, because at the end of the day, I don't. Because she know who she married, she know what she got involved with, and she knows the powers that be. So please stop worshiping her, acting like she's a god, or acting like she this and that. She is in a position that all of us other people have been in, and that we've chosen because of financial status, or because we are a part of something that we didn't know we got involved with. And that's how I feel about her getting involved with her husband, because her husband is a very powerful man. He is definitely involved with these people. You don't think they called him and said, hey, tell your wife, be quiet? Or you don't think they said, okay, let's use your wife to usher in the new agenda? Let's use your wife. And he definitely going home like, babe, let me talk to you. I just got a call from the government or these certain particular people. They want to have a meeting with you. And let me tell you, this meeting's about what you're talking about and what you're doing. And they want to use what you're doing to keep the people distracted. These are the type of conversations that go on, fam. And as clear as I just said what I said and the way I said it, that is how it is being said. For this to happen, for this to go down, that is how it is being said. Yeah, we all family, Eugene, but the point I'm making is I can tell and I can see and I identify what I'm looking at. And that's why I'm trying to do that for y'all, fam, because I want y'all to be able to identify and see what's going on here. There's no way. Let's hit that button right now. I want to know the rest that she's saying. Let's go. Hit that like button, subscribe right now. Hit that I need 3 likes right now so I can press play. No, because we all in here deep. We in here, no. that number that's in here and that like number ain't going together. I need 3 likes right now, man. I need to press play on what's going on, family. I need 3 likes right now. Let's get right in here. Let's get real. Let's join the family. I need 3 likes, man. I need to press play on it because I'm trying to show people what's really going on in the world, fam. You hear me? Shout out to family, making sure that we get real and get right. Let's go. I need 3 likes. Let's go. I need them right now. Let's go, family.
The assassination, and I think that we deserve to know. I don't think it should be a secret, right? Charities shouldn't be a secret. Why? And by the way, it leads to more questions like, how could you say that you knew that your IPO was going to lead to billions of dollars? How could you promise that? How could you promise that? And did Charlie know?
Hey Joshua, I got a whole
Did Charlie know? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I know a lot of billionaires
for Masonic symbology
like that.
I got a whole thing.
They don't
I might
part
do
with
it
their
tomorrow.
money and offer people pieces of their company, people that aren't even their family members. So why was that offer on the table? I have so many questions and I'm gonna ask them publicly. And I think that we demand answers. We should all be demanding answers because this is now starting to feel very, very dark. It's too French, right? It's just too French. We just can't all be hanging out in Delaware. And there's one more thing.
This girl just said that we all can't be hanging out in Delaware. And then in my right mind, I was trying to figure out that she just said calmly what she's saying. And it's funny because I'm listening to her talk, and it's really the way she talking that's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Because the way she talking is coming off more like, you know, making everything just more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like she don't talk with informant. She talk like she's talking with friends. You know, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. We should be all worried about this. We should be up in arms. Let me tell you why we not worried about it. Why we not up in arms. We not up in arms because nobody threatened our lives. We not up in arms because we didn't talk about a French government or president. Why? We not up in arms because we didn't talk about a French government president publicly at all. We not up in arms because that stuff didn't directly affect us. We not up in arms because all of that you're talking about has to do with the French government and the FBI. And in the midst of that, that's been going on because we know corruption. We not pressed about it. But Candace, you are. Because you have a voice that can literally be heard right now at the front door of these problems. So when she sit here and tell us that we need to get amped, we need to raise arms, no. We need to send it back to Candace and say, no, you get amped. You raise arms. They want to kill you. You need to go to the place and open up your mouth and get popping. Because it kills me when people like this want us to support them, but they don't really support us. Candace don't support nothing in our community. She don't. No, she don't. From how she walk, talk, and breathe and say what she say, she don't support nothing in our community at all. But yet she'll go on YouTube, do this, and you black ass people that's on her sit up there and follow her and say you love her. And she don't support nothing you stand for. You women on her that's black, the way you talk, if you don't talk like her, she don't rock with you. If you sat down with Candace Owens and had lunch or breakfast, you would feel some type of way. Because you would think that she was acting like she was too smart for you all, when really, that's how she feel. But yet you over there like, oh, Candace this, Candace that. But Candace don't even want to have a conversation with your stupid ass. Because that's how she view you. Let's get right, let's get real. This for real, for real. Since y'all won't break down what's happening in communities, no. And a person in my community would really sit and jam with Candace. If not, they thought they was on the same level as Candace. Articulately, intelligently, living wisely. And because you ain't on the level with her, she will belittle you. She will make you feel very small. She'll make you feel like a mustard seed. That's very little. But everybody love her to death and support everything she do. But let her be in the room with you and you ain't on the level of her. She gonna make you feel like a little slave. So this is what I'm talking about the realness on why she is put in position to talk that talk, but not walk that walk. Mariette says, I've been waiting on somebody to address this. You came to the right place. Because see, you in here with your boy Dealatofficial and my fam. And this is no filters. That means it's no feelings. It's no feel. It's nothing that can be felt. We're going to cook everybody accordingly as for the ingredients that's poison they put out in the world. We're going to cook them same ingredients in a pot and give it back to them. And that's real. TC5494. I wish your name was in there, fam, because you got me naming numbers and shit. But yeah, she's going to make you feel a little like a little duckling. Yeah. So that's what I mean by for those that support her, she don't support you. And for those that rock with her, she don't rock with you. She telling you things that's sounding good and juicy for storylines. When all in all, she's still gonna be living tomorrow. She's still gonna be living, she's still gonna be here. So while y'all all up in arms about Candace Owens and seeming like her life about to go, no. They know what they was doing because they know who following them and who rock with them. But you need to understand, she not doing nothing she doing for black people. And she black as hell. Ain't none of that she doing. The way she talk, walk, breathe, look, whatever. Ain't none of that for the black culture or for black people. At all. All of that is for white folk and for those people that are in position that's higher than her, that's hired to be seen in that light. That's why she talk the way she talk and move the way she move. Duh. And you marry that white man, that slash whatever he is. She's a bird and she's a duck. And there's no offense, disrespectful or nothing. But I'm just telling you, these actions are what ducks do. These actions are what birds do. These actions are what sisters do to break the cycle of ghetto or to break the cycle of ebonics talk, breaking the cycle of just projects and hood. So when we talking about it, fam, we just want to identify, make sure we understand what's going on, and make sure we understand what we're looking at. Because at the end of the day, they put her in a position to be seen a certain way.
There's one more thing that came in regarding Andrew Colbert.
Because look how she talks. Look how she talks when she talks.
Colbert messaged me early on, and
Kashana, where you been?
Again, was not tracking
I ain't seen you. Where you
at the
been?
time, but they had said that they felt that Andrew Colbert was acting weird, and I'm sure that's not a big deal. I think we were all acting weird. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but moreover, they had mentioned that specifically Andrew had told them that when Charlie said no to Bibi, he lost out on millions. Now I'm going to say allegedly because this is a tip, but I have that tip in writing. I'm not lying to you. And I thought to myself, that is so weird. How could the spokesperson be on the? How could they
make
be
sure we got that notification bell on these?
What is the structure here of these contracts? And even people that are in PR, people that are like running PR departments are getting tips on the basis of donations. I don't know how this is working, but we need to figure out how this is working. I think it's really important that we learn the truth about what happened. Who's Pierre?
Why you think it's important that we
and has turning point been paid? Obviously, would it be on this year's taxes? We're not going to file those on this year's taxes, but they would be on next year's. But we can ask now, and I'm asking now.
You ain't lying.
And there's more I want to share, but we're going to take a brief break for sponsors. I'll ask the question, what are you guys doing today to protect your tomorrow? Because it seems like waiting until later is not really an option because we're already living in. And of course, I'm not saying that you should dump everything that you have into gold because that would be as misguided. To get the Egyptian plane story killed, you know, and I find that to be very interesting. I find that to be very interesting. What is it about these Egyptian planes that Turning Point USA didn't want them to be discussed? I don't know. But I am going to find out. I think we kind of have found out in a weird, really effed up way, actually. It makes my stomach turn. I'm going to miss Charlie. I really am going to miss Charlie. And I think when Charlie was assassinated, there was something about it. I knew that this story was going to be dark. Instantly, I knew that Charlie was betrayed. They laughed at me. Oh, you had a dream. Charlie told you he was, but yeah, Charlie told me that he was betrayed. And I think part of the mourning was the grief that I was experiencing was in large part due to my understanding that this was going to be missional for me. I think I knew deep down that this was going to be missional. And I kind of knew deep down that the whole world was going to be against me, or I guess the whole dark apparatus was going to be against me, not the world. There are so many good people in the world that are the reason that I'm doing this and who understood instantly and felt instantly what I felt when this all happened. And I think it's sad because I was just reflecting on, I guess, really the last part of my youth, being ignorant and thinking that we lived in a country that was free and was fair and was a meritocracy, the excitement of me and Charlie in politics. Like, we were young bucks thinking that we were going to change the world because the MAGA movement offered us this opportunity to do it, right? We are going to get Trump elected and we're going to get people to stop talking about racism and sexism and to understand like family is a priority. And I realize now, and I know Charlie realizes now, that we did not see the evil that was around us. And I'm going to miss that youth. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to miss that young experience. I'm going to miss Charlie going on dates and the girl they liked and me always being the wing woman and him asking. This text message is one of my favorite text messages between me and Charlie when he was getting ready to go on a date. And, you know, he didn't date many people. And he was just kind of in love with this girl, and he was asking me, should I wear this? And this is the text message, it's so sweet. He said, do I have to change this shirt? And I wrote back, yes, and throw it away if you can. Charlie, and he writes, okay. And he's wearing a Turning Point early shirt that somebody, I think, gave to him. He's stitched on. Is it stitched on? Is it ironed on? I don't know, but I was like, Charlie, burn it. Obviously, burn that shirt. And it makes me, it's stuff that makes me cry and makes me sad because he just was so young. You know, Charlie was so young and he was such a good person. And I'm also going to miss the young conversations that you have when you're vibing with someone and you're speaking about things that you don't understand as you were coming up in politics. I always felt like an alien. We would have these discussions with donors and we'd have discussions with people and people would do stuff and I would just tell them all the time, Charlie, I'm an alien. I am new on this planet. I don't understand this. I don't understand double speak and, you know, contracts and people threatening to sue. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm an alien. And Charlie always said he felt like he was a time traveler. And this is a conversation. I'd say, I'm an alien. I just messaged him from across the room. And he said, I think I'm a time traveler. This is my home. He felt like Earth was his planet, but I think you found me and time traveled with me. Like the kind of friendship where you can talk about being a time traveler and feeling like an alien, as I've always felt like it, because I don't.
Okay, yeah, she big cap. Cause see, what this does is pull you in. This start pulling the tears in, the love in, the emotions in, the everything in. Because in that point, she start talking about their relationship. And her talking about she an alien because she don't know nothing, and that man a time traveler because he just stopped her to give us information and keep going. No, we're not doing that. We're not listening to that. We're not even gonna get that time to breathe for life. Because even in your real life, That's planting a seed in all of our brains that we don't need. And when I see that, that's when I know that our time here has been done. Because now we understand what's happening, why it's happening, and who is it happening from. And because of that, we take that serious so we can know how to identify and understand and be aware. To inform the major ways about how these people operate and what they're operating under. And at the end of the day, they literally want you to be stupid, like TC said. As always, fam, you know what it is, man. We up in here Monday through Friday. Your boy Dilla T, 9 p.m. It's only one way to do it. And right now, you got to like, you got to subscribe, and you got to become a member today. Because at the end of the day, we're here to identify, inform, understand, and be aware that if it walk like a, talk like a, then it's a duck, and the activity is duck wise. It's duck hunt season, fam, and we ain't playing with nobody. That's the way we coming. That's the way we going. That's the only way we can get it done. You know what it take and what it take in the way we do this together as a family to make sure that we are here to inform and bring light to darkness and make sure that people understand what to be aware of. As always, family, I truly appreciate your time. Taking your time out, rocking with your boy Dilla T, making sure that you tune in Monday through Friday with family or yourself to know that this is very important, that we understand what's going on. Because again, everybody in the world ain't even paying attention, and everybody in the world got everything going on. But I thank God for no filters to be able to take time out to identify and read in between the headlines that we know that it ain't right, or we know that it is wrong, to know which way we need to move, to know which right way we need to go, and in the ways of our family to follow us. As always, family, truly appreciate you, man. Taking time. It's only one way to do it. When you come in, you get you something to eat, you get you something to drink, and you get you something to smoke if that's what you do, because you already know what it is. You right here with your boy, Dilla T, and this is No Filters. Good night, family. Y'all be safe. Lock your doors. God bless. It's love.